What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to do a deck profile video. Another one just like I did with my Lucario V-Star video. If you want to check that out, check it up here. But today we're going to be talking about Arceus V-Star and Birds, a deck that I think is very strong in the current format, a deck that I think could be very strong for EUIC and for the Indianapolis Regional Championships moving forward. I think there's something else on that day as well. But this all started because of a meme and a comment I got on my TikTok. And someone on my TikTok asked, could I see an Arceus Birds list? So, I kind of took my skeleton, what I was working with, and I posted it to TikTok because I do use TikTok. The link is in the bio. It's a little bit cringe. I apologize in advance, but I like to have fun and I like to be me. But this is where I'm more serious. That's where I'm more fun. You don't have to check it out. You don't have to. Please don't, actually. I'm very embarrassing. But it all started with a meme when Tate Witzel of PokeStats posted 2015. You could check a Verbank for a guy's list, but he might be keeping it secret for the next event. That's true. Back in 2015, nobody posted deck lists. Nobody did any of that stuff. That was the first time we were kind of starting the era of posting your deck list, getting that internet notoriety. And then 2017, you can find that guy's list and every other day 2 list on Limitless and PokeStats. Yeah, by 2017, 2018, lists were getting more common, getting posted. And at some point, I think organizers started posting lists as well. And then 2022, here's the meme. Rahul just posted a list on his TikTok that I want to try. Well, that's the meme. And that inspired me to, I guess, actually do the deck profile video. Because I figured, why not actually take the time and make the deck profile video? If you're here to grab the list, grab it and get out. You did more than that, but first subscribe, please. I appreciate you a ton. You can come back and steal my list any day. So let's talk about the list a little bit. It's nothing really complicated. We have the 4-3-1-1 Inteleon line because I do think that is probably the correct way to play Inteleon engines from here on out, unless you're planning on using 2 quick shooting or 2 shady dealings for some reason, in which case then you can go back up to a 4th drizzle. That's really the only use case where like a 4th drizzle seems correct in this metagame where every single card matters so much in every deck. Now, the deck only plays a 2-2 Arceus V-Star line, Arceus V-Star having the Star Birth ability, and the Trinity Nova attack to power up your board. Now, you might be thinking a 2-2 line is very, very thin, but that's really all you need. You only ever really need one Arceus in a game, because it can kind of help you accelerate your board, kind of get the game going with the Star Birth so you don't brick, and then the rest of the game gets carried by these little burbs. You have these 2 Malevolent Charged Galarian Moltres with the Fiery Wrath. The Malevolent Charge ability lets you play from your hand to your bench and attach 2 darkness energies from your hand to this Pokemon. And you're going to build your hand, kind of get to that state, bench this guy with 2 fires, are fighting dark. What did I say? Why did I say so many energy types? 2 dark types, dark energies, and then, because I keep reading Fire Wrath, that's why. They baited me. And then you attach another energy from your hand, 20 plus 50 for each prize card taken. Now, that's not a lot of damage, and you're probably thinking that probably doesn't do enough, but in this format, we have this really cool guy called Mew VMAX. I mean, cool depending on how you see it, I guess, but that's kind of the guy to beat, and that's what we're going to try to take down, try to beat, and that's where Fiery Wrath comes into play, because after they've taken their 3rd prize card, it's a free game. Galarian Moltres can knock out anything. After they take their 4th prize card, you can knock out a Genesect. 3 prize cards, meaning with a choice belt as well, you can knock out a Genesect. So all of a sudden, the entire Mew VMAX deck becomes one-shottable with this Moltres past 3 prize cards taken. We also have the Galarian Moltres V that we can power up with a Dire Flame Wings ability, creating a secondary threat if we want to start putting pressure onto the board. Or let's say we want to, our opponent isn't taking prizes early, so we want to put the pressure on ourselves. We have the Aura Burn attack for 190, which does 32 itself, which is kind of irrelevant in this situation, but the Dark type weakness and 190 being able to one-shot a Genesect V is very, very strong. Now, what makes this deck so unique is this Galarian Zapdos V with the Fighting Instinct ability. The Fighting Instinct ability says this Pokemon's attack costs 1 less colorless for each of your opponent's Pokemon V in play. Every single deck in this current format has to be playing 1 or 2 V Pokemon, which makes Galarian Zapdos like super easy to attack with for 2 energy. Which means you can put it down, accelerate an energy onto it, or just, if your opponent has 3 V Pokemon in play, specifically in the Arceus matchup, you can just put this guy down, attach a fighting energy, and all of a sudden Thunderous Kick will be doing 170 damage and one-shotting your opponent's active Arceus V. Arceus V caps out at 310 HP, even with the Big Charm. So this is a really cool card to kind of mitigate that, and it also has 1 retreat, so it's not too much of a commitment, because it's just a 1-card package, or like a 3-card package if you want to be completely transparent, but yeah. Then you have the Hoopa, which gives you the Assault Gate attack, which helps a lot into things like Meloetta, putting in early damage. Let's say you don't want to kind of go in with the Arceus. Let's say you want to play a little bit slower. You can go in with the Hoopa and set up for a 2-shot with that and the Galarian Moltres in the first couple turns, and then kind of while your opponent is taking prizes and you want to use this Moltres later down the line, you have time to do that. And you're thinking, Rahul, you only have 2 Moltres, you only have 1 Hoopa. What if you use these attackers and you don't want to use these other guys? What if you don't want to put these 2 prizers down? Well, we'll get to that in a second. I'm going to hover it real quick. It's Clara, but we'll get there in a second. We also have the Zigzagoon with the Headbutt Tantrum to help damage, especially when we're using Arceus with Choice Belt. There is the potential to go Arceus with a DTE Energy, Choice Belt, and a Zigzagoon on the second turn of the game going first to one-shot your opponent's Arceus V, putting them in a pretty bad spot, and that's kind of why the Zigzagoon is in there more than anything. But Zigzagoon plus Quick Shooting plus Shady Dealings also gives you an out in the Malamar matchup to knock out both the Malamar and an Inkay, which is really strong. Now, I'm still a huge proponent of the Bibarel line, and I think in a deck like this where you're also picking up all your combo pieces and building your hand, having Bibarel is really, really strong to kind of find those last little bit of cards, kind of find those combo pieces, because there are not that many draw supporters actually in this deck, so at a certain point you are relying on your entire Inteleon engine to carry you, and so once you use that like niche supporter you want to use for the turn, you've got this hard-working beaver to fill your hand again with Industrious Incisors. Go back to 5 cards in hand. So you don't really feel too bad about making a combo piece play, or you don't feel too bad about discarding really important pieces at points. So then we're going to have 2 Research, 2 Boss's Orders, and a Marnie to be kind of consistent. The thing I mentioned earlier about Pokemon hitting your discard and not being able to reuse them, we have this really cool card called Clara, where you can get 2 Pokemon from your discard pile, 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile, or do both. So in a lot of situations, we're going to go ahead and grab that Moltres plus 2 Dark Energies, put it back into our hand. Then you can get a +1 like that Hoopa. You can get a +1 like some of that Inteleon piecing of the line. And there are times where you're going to be having a little bit of a slower setup, or the board is going to be a little bit slow, so you can Clara for your Inteleon pieces. Like, for example, we might discard the Shady Dealings early, we might discard this Inteleon early, and we can just pretty much grab these guys back, or a Drizzle, and that becomes, like this Clara can become a Drizzle, which can then become something like a Scoop Up Net, or the Choice Belt, or the Cape of Toughness we were looking for to kind of continue our game plan. We have 1 copy of Raihan because we want to be able to attack with Arceus. If one of our Arceus goes down, we want to be able to use this to attack with Zapdos if we want to power up that Moltres, Galarian Moltres V, the Galarian Moltres as well. And most importantly, and I think the most niche scenario, is this Aqua Bullet Inteleon that we can set up and attack with against something like Malamar, or in a niche matchup where we think that we need to offset the prize trade a little bit. We need to attack with this guy. We no longer need Shady Dealings for the rest of the game, but doing this Aqua Bullet attack for 120-20 is relevant enough. We can Raihan to this guy and get that ball rolling. Now, we have 4 Quick Ball, 3 Level Ball, 3 Ultra Ball, and 2 Incense. This feels pretty staple for these kinds of Inteleon engines. If you weren't playing the B-Brawl, I would argue that you could play 2 Ultra Ball and 3 Incense, or even cut the Ultra Ball all together and go to 4 Level Ball, 4 Incense. But I do feel like having cards that discard cards is very important, especially when your hands are going to get clogged up with cards you might not need for a certain matchup, or you're playing out, like this deck plays out of the discard very heavily using the Clara and the Galarian Moltres, so you don't really mind putting these cards into the discard early, because you can get them back with the Clara package. You can just get them back at any given moment, and that's kind of very, very strong. So you have cards you're allowed to discard really with this deck, and you can bring them back with this 1 cool supporter. We have 2 copies of Scoop Up Net. Obviously, I think a third would be really, really good. But space is tight, and I think 2 Net is really all you need to be able to chain these Inteleons. Use it like a switching card as well. And we have a third switching card, which is just the Air Balloon as well. I'm gonna hop around a little bit because this is important to explain. It is a switching card that benefits this deck more greatly because there are some things that have 2 retreat costs that you want to get out of the active without burning a net on turn 1, namely the Arceus VSTAR, the Galarian Moltres V, and the Hoopa. These guys are a little bit bigger, and you want to be able to move them with the Air Balloon without burning a net. And on some of these targets, you can't even burn the net. You have 1 copy of Energy Switch because I have found, like the situation I've used, is Galarian Moltres, or Zapdos, sorry, will have the fighting, and it'll have 1 or 2 V Pokemon in play, and your opponent's smart, and they're like, I know they're playing Zapdos. I can only have 2 Arceus in play. Wrong, bozo! We're going to use the fighting. We're going to get the Moltres in play. We're going to E-Switch, the Dark Energy over here, and Thunderous Kick, bada bing, bada boom, your Arceus is gonzo. So, simple as that, you know? You just got to give them that nope, bozo. You got the Pal Pad to put back some of these niche supporters, especially if we research them away. Or sometimes we might need 2 Raihan in a game, and sometimes we might need 3 Clara in a game, or 3 Boss in a game. I don't know what game we'll actually need 3 Clara, and that seems really unlikely. It's more likely that it's 3 Boss. We have 1 Choice Belt for the combo play I talked about earlier with the Trinity Nova, as well as using the Fiery Wrath to do some extra damage in the early game with the Galarian Moltres, as well as getting this Moltres to 220, which is a pretty important number as well to one-shot Arceus V. we have the Cape of Toughness, which is a really cool combo piece to put in with this Galarian Zapdos. Yes, this is, yes, this does not work on stage 1s or whatever. It's only basics, so it only works on our little guys, basically. But the idea is we can put the Zapdos down, Cape of Toughness it, take a knockout, and our Arceus opponent will have a very difficult time taking the one-shot back on this Galarian Zapdos, so we could get more mileage out of it and maybe take another 2 prizes. So trading 2 for 4, that seems really good in my books, just in general. We have 2 copies of Training Court because in the late game, we will be playing out of our discard, so we're going to have a lot of our energy sitting in the discard, so even when we Clara, we're going to need to find one more combo piece to kind of get the ball rolling, and that combo piece will be Training Court, so we can go get Clara into like maybe Drizzle, Moltres, 2 Dark Energies, get the Moltres into play with the Fiery Wrath, put the Drizzle down, get the Training Court, get the 3rd energy we need, and then, bada bing, bada boom, we're attacking with Fiery Wrath. We have 2 copies of Double Turbo because this Arceus is not the primary attacker in a lot of matchups. You probably only want a Trinity Nova once, if anything. He's kind of just in here for Starbirth play. And then we have 6 Dark, 1 Water, and 1 Fighting. The 6 Dark is very stable to get all these Dark attackers and Dark energies in the discard. The 1 Water is really cool to get this Aqua Bullet play off, and I don't think it takes away from the consistency of the deck at all because all of these attackers have at least one colorless attack attachment requirement besides Hoopa. So this can kind of fulfill that, and then we have the 1 Fighting as well, which gets the Zapdos ball, like the package rolling, and it also fulfills the colorless requirement for one of these guys. So the only like Doomsday scenario is if we prize way too many Darks, which would have to be 5 Darks, which is a lot of Darks. And then then we can't really use, like, these 2 kind of get punish us, but otherwise this is really good. Tech cards, you could play cards like Energy Search to kind of guarantee which energy card you want to get. Let's read the text just so I don't mess you guys up. Energy Search basically is, no, I don't want to add that. Energy Search basically switch deck for basic energy card, show it to your opponent, put it in your hand. This card could be really good in this deck to kind of get one of these pieces back that you want. Other tech cards include a Big Charm if you want that. You can cut the Bibarel line potentially to beef up your ball search consistency. You can do a lot of things with this deck. This is just a very bare bones list and kind of how I would play it right now. A little bit higher risk, a little bit higher reward. And with that being said, if you guys enjoyed the content, please like, subscribe, and I will be back tomorrow with another video. Peace out.